November 9th, 1989, the Berlin Wall came crashing down. People rejoiced as families were reunited and the city of Berlin was made whole. For the United States and all other democratic countries, it meant the end of the Cold War was in sight. And for many, the war was already over.
There is some question as to when exactly the Cold War began. Some say that it began because as the two superpowers after World War II, the United States and the Soviet Union became suspicious of each other. Others say that it started when the Soviet Union began taking over Eastern Europe. Yet another belief is that the Yalta Conference was the real beginning. Whatever the theory, one thing remains the same. The United States didn't want communism to spread, and the Soviet Union didn't want democracy to spread. Both accused the other of trying to take over the world, and were willing to go to war to make sure that didn't happen.
One of the most infamous symbols of the Cold War was the Berlin Wall. Its construction began on August 17, 1961, and it split Germany in half, separating capitalism from communism.
The United States created two documents at the beginning of the war. First was the Truman's Doctrine, and that one, it stated that the US would help any unoccupied state resist communism attacks. And the second was the Marshall Plan, which tried to stop the spread of communism by rebuilding Western Europe.
On August 29, 1949, things got worse when the Soviet Union tested the atomic bomb. The nuclear arms race began after that. The race escalated when the invention of the H-bomb in 1942 by the U.S. The USSR set off the first H-bomb in 1955.
The space race began in 1957 when Sputnik was launched. It was the first man-made satellite to orbit the Earth. The launch of Sputnik made the Americans feel threatened, and by them being threatened, it led to the immediate formation of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, which is today known as NASA.
Fear spread throughout America as widespread accusations of communist activities were made. Spies infiltrated pop culture with James Bond, Rocky and Bullwinkle's Boris and Natasha, and Get Smart, and A Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Both the Soviets and the United States gained support for their cause by heavily using propaganda.
The Soviet Union also showed superiority in the Olympics. They were willing to do anything to win. In 1972, the Soviet Union cheated at basketball and won the gold. Officials even said their use of timeouts was illegal, but they still won. In 1976, East German women swimmers were accused of using steroids, and even though it was never proven, they later admitted to it.
especially when I was like at home.
Want me to try?
Big can.
Oh wow, that's harder than it looks.
Didn't work. You want to take it?
Woo!
The wall has been whipped.
And that is Caitlin Russell.
I don't know why I'm telling.
It's a new form of art.
So much for your wedding. I know. Now they have to pay for your bail.
We better get an A for this.
Yeah. Woo! Woo!